everyone, it's Michelle, and I wanted to touch base briefly on material things versus spiritual things because I've just seen a few posts in the spiritual community that are not sitting very well with me, and so I wanted to address them on my page. But I think that when we think about our goals, we think about the end result and the end game, and those always tend to be materialistic things that are being expressed. And it's like so part of our normal that we forget that achieving things spiritually is the best goal to have. And things are not always about buying money, or even worse, finding our value in things that money can buy. And it's really great to reward yourself with a treat, and it's really great to have fun things around you. It's just that that's all they are just things, right? And they don't really fulfill you on a spiritual level. Those are just surface things. And I think we need to get back to the things that are more inward. When I talk about or think about my greatest accomplishments, they are all things that came from inner work, not things I was able to purchase or buy. And I just don't want us forgetting that aspect of success, basically. So when we think about our goals, it's great to have, buy a house or get this new car, but that shouldn't be all your goals look like. I also think you should find goals that talk about spending time with people, or overcoming a trauma, or challenging yourself in a new way, or asking for help when you need it and offering help when you can give it. Those are things that I just think are overlooked as goals, but they're just as important. Another thing is we get too caught up in finding value in these things. Like if we don't own these things or have these things, then our self-worth is tied to that. Like, oh, maybe we don't consider ourselves successful. And I just think that's a bunch of BS, to be honest. I've worked really, really hard to find my self-worth and to be the person who puts my value on myself. That came from the most crazy work. Oh gosh, just crazy, demanding, challenging, hard work. I consider myself a successful person. But I'm sure there are people out there, because I'm not driving a flashy car, that wouldn't consider me successful, and I don't really care. Those aren't my people. But I just don't want us to be so focused, us who are doing all this inner work and overcoming, reprogramming our minds from childhood, overcoming traumas, overcoming abuse, to think we're not as successful as these people because we're not wearing designer shoes. That's not what success looks like. And I think that we just forget the spiritual side of success. That is so important. I think it's the most important part. So keep on doing that inner work. Keep on pushing yourself. And please, please find your self-worth in all that you have done thus far, what you've overcome, what you've shared with people, what you inspired people with, because that, to me, means you're successful. Those other things are just toys that are like add-ons. That is so surface level. And what you are all working on goes much deeper than that. And so I just want you to know I'm proud of you, and I judge you for that. You know what I mean? Like when I see you, that's what I see. I do not see what car you're driving or the clothes you are wearing. And I don't want you to see those things about yourself. So that is that. I, of course, want you to reward yourself appropriately, and sometimes material things do play into that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we make that the end all be all, that's when there's another issue at play. And what you're doing is you're putting a band-aid on something that's much deeper rooted. Okay? And I don't want you to ignore that, because that's when you're not doing the real work. Means you're gonna have a breakdown again. You know what I mean? You're not learning or growing. You're just kind of keeping a holding pattern, and that's not good. So just know the difference, and always message me if you need help with that. All right, well, have a good evening, you guys. Bye.